This is John McEntee from Incantation. You're watching Heavy New York. Blah!
Heavy, 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 heavy New York.
What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at Warsaw Concert, so we are here with John of Incantation. Thank you so much for your time today, man.
Hey, it's great to do the interview and to be here in Brooklyn, New York. It's kind of like my home base for metal. Back when I was growing up, I used to go to L'Amour's out here all the time when I was a teenager and stuff, so it's really great always to be back in this area. Plus, we play Brooklyn all the time, St. Vitus and a whole bunch of places here.
Yeah, you were just here earlier in the year, too, on the Devastation on the Nation tour with Dark Funeral in Belphegor, too, right?
Yeah, that was a total blast.
Yeah.
We had a great time. It was a great bill. I played at this place, the Bazaar, or something like that, or is that what it's called?
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Oh, it's not around them. Okay. But and the show was amazing. The crowd was just great, and the tour was awesome. We just had a total blast last time we played here in Brooklyn. I'm sure it's going to be killer. It's always killer here, really. New York is such an amazing place for underground music and stuff like that. So we always have a blast.
Absolutely. But now that Profane Nexus, your latest record, it came out in 2017. So we'll get this question over with. Could we be expecting some new Incantation fairly soon?
Yeah, actually, real soon. We're hoping to put the finishing touches on a new album before this tour, but the tour came up a little quicker, maybe I'll say the album took a little longer to do than expected. So we didn't get to finish it before the tour, but when we get back from the tour, we have to do a few finishing touches, and then we should be able to send it off to press. So I would say probably we're looking at an early spring release for a new album, and super super stoked on it because we've been touring a lot, which is great, but we were really stoked to get some new music out too. I mean, we just have so many ideas. We have everyone in the band's a songwriter, so we always have an abundance of songs. We just want to keep getting it out, but it's so difficult to get in the studio when we're out on the road all the time. So we're happy that we finally got almost everything done with it.
Yeah. Do you take a new approach to every single album that you make, or at this point in your career, does Incantation kind of have a usual go-to formula that you always tend to stick with?
It's not. I wouldn't say it's always the same exact go-to formula, because everybody in every different, say, lineup or different time in a band, they bring different things to the table and stuff. So the best thing to do all the time is to utilize the tools you have in the toolbox. So there's always going to be differences. There's always a core that's the same, and as far as myself and Kyle, we always look back to the reason why we wanted to play metal and do music in the first place, and that's always a good starting point. But then you have to use, obviously, the weapons you have available to you in the band, and they always bring a little bit of a different flavor. For people, if they expect a new album to sound like an album we did 30 years ago, it's not going to be 100% the same, but it's not going to be totally different either, because I've always been the core songwriter of the band, even though there's everyone's always contributed to it. So there's always going to be a little bit of the where we came from, but then always something new brought to the table, or some cool new ideas. I mean, everybody on the new album brought some really amazing material to it. I'm extremely proud and happy of everyone's input, and we're not 100% finished with the mix and album and stuff like that, but it's coming out, for me, it's coming out way better than even the last one. And I really like Profane Nexus a lot, but this one to me seems a little more, at least at this point, it seems more genuine and personal, or something like that. It just seems like it just has a good essence to it, or something like that. it might sound cheesy, but it has like a good soul to it or something like that.
Hey, soul and death metal, I think, is a great combination.
It's kind of a weird word, but it's not. But
Barry White of death metal.
yeah, yeah. But music has to be good. It shouldn't be so
Forced.
yeah, so forced, so stiff. It's not that it's a loose album by any means, but it has just a good it just seems. It just seems like I don't know. It just means a lot to me. I mean, maybe because I've been working on it so hard. I mean, especially the last 3 months before this tour, I lived this album so much. It actually got to the point where I couldn't even judge the songs for a little while because I was so close to it. But once I was able to step back a little bit, and listen to it, I was like, fuck yeah, this came out the way I want it to. But sometimes at the time of doing it, you're just like you're concentrating on all these little details and really giving it your all, but then at the same time you also lose perspective. It's always good to look back on it, or just have somebody that doesn't know the songs at all listen back and give you an opinion like, is this good or just suck or whatever. And then we're a band where we don't mind if we write something and it's not good or it sucks. We want to know if it sucks or if it's good, because we don't want you get so caught up in the writing aspect of it, and you sometimes forget about just if it's a good song or not a good song, because sometimes you get on these weird musical agendas and stuff like that, because we wrote some of the stuff for the album. Most of the stuff was written 2-3 years ago actually, but we kind of brought it back to life recently. So some of the stuff we had back then we thought was great, and then we listened back to it and we're like, no, it just like you can't with the passage of time, sometimes you can't get that same exact vibe that you had before, and you're just playing it. You're like, I just don't feel it anymore, and you have to adjust it so it makes sense, or just take it out, or just throw it away, or add new stuff. And that's kind of what we did. And I don't know. To me, I'm pretty excited about it, as you could tell. It was such a grueling task to get this album done. So it's really great. But I mean, some of our, most say appreciated work, say like Mortal Throne, Nazarene, or Upon a Throne Apocalypse. That was like a really grueling album to do. I mean, it was very stressful and stuff. And people didn't even like it at the time it came out, but 10, 15 years later, it's considered one of our classics. So, this was kind of not as bad as that. I remember our Mortal Throne, our band was falling apart, but this one was very passionate album. We'll say, it was really stressful to get through, but sometimes that stress is a positive thing, in your life.
Yeah. When it comes to the process for lyrics, is there ever a time where maybe like a lyrical concept or subject matter could help determine the outcome of the music itself, or are lyrics kind of just like a secondary sort of scenario?
Lyrics definitely could add a good flavor to what we have, but we mostly we write the lyrics separate and the music separate. We don't have a lyric sheet and then read the lyrics and write to it. I mean, I've done that in the past, but saying for this album, no. Chuck Sherwood wrote all the lyrics to the album. He comes up with amazing ideas. I mean, he's the right person to do that, and it's good for me because I like to focus more on the music aspect of it. I've always liked that. I've written lyrics in the past, but only out of necessity, honestly, not because I enjoy it. I enjoy writing music. That's more my my forte, I guess. But when I get the lyrics and we try to place what lyrics fit with what song and stuff like that. Sometimes the lyrics really take what we have and bring it to it brings the song to life even more. It adds something. It adds a special vibe to it. It's really crazy because we'll have these songs and we'll be happy with them. They sound good, but then we throw on the lyrics on top of it, and it's just like, fuck yeah! It's like it all makes sense now, But Chuck is very in tune with the Incantation vibe, and he's been in the band for a really long time now. I mean, he joined in 07 or '08. I can't remember exactly. So he's been, what, 10, 11 years in the band. So he's really in tune with, you know, the vibe and, you know, how things are supposed to fit. And I mean, he comes up with ideas and stuff like that, sometimes lyric pattern wise and stuff, but it just, it all falls together good. I mean, the writing team we have and the way we organize everything is super, you know, super awesome. I mean, Kyle does an amazing job too of coming up with great patterns and making the words fit over stuff properly. Different ideas than I would come up with and stuff because, you know, I guess we're on our 12th album now, so it's like you want to come up with new and interesting patterns and ideas. You don't want to just go with the exact same generics that you've been doing for a while because you get used to doing it a certain way, you know, especially me being a guitar player. Sometimes I'll just follow the guitar riffs and stuff like that. And it's better when, you know, Kyle or Chuck comes up with something and it fits in the pocket a different way and stuff like that. And it gives a different perspective. It's just a real great team effort. And this album, once again, was a great team effort. So, you know, as a songwriter, it's amazing to work with, you know, people that, you know, are all super inspired and, you know, really come up with some great ideas, you know, because, you know, everyone's firing on all cylinders and it's just awesome, you know. There's just a energy, you know, when we're doing it, it's like, fuck yeah, you know, you really feel the power of metal, you know.
And the final question I wanted to ask you is, I've always said that songwriting is a completely different sort of skill, a completely different energy than, you know, simply being able to play. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when it comes to, but is there maybe like a similar energy that you put into your live presence as you do in songwriting, or is it like a completely separate mind frame altogether?
Do you mean like, do we write songs thinking about how it's going to go over live?
Yeah, kind of like that.
I mean, there's moments where that is a, you know, a thought. Sometimes you want to, sometimes you want to make it, say, live friendly to some extent, but it's sometimes, we'll just say sometimes, because there's certain songs you think about, oh, that'll sound pretty good live, but honestly, you don't really know 100% until you actually do it live, because, you know, a good song, more than anything, just has to be a good song. It has to mean something. It has to be very passionate. You know, when we write a song, the most important thing is that, you know, the song structure is good and that it really gets across whatever feeling or vibe we're trying to accomplish in it. The viability live is not necessarily, it's not that it's out of the question, we'll say, but it's not a top priority. You know, we have a lot of songs that go over really well live, and there's a lot of songs that really don't go over that well live, but go over really well on the album. But yeah, I would say on a new album, there's a few songs that we wrote that are like, oh, that might be a good, you know, headbanger for live or something like that. But yeah, I mean, playing live and performing live and doing an album are two totally different things. And I'm fortunate that I like doing both a lot. I love playing live and I love the raw energy. It's just, I've been a metal fan for ridiculous amount of time. So I love that raw energy, especially of my youth in the 80s and stuff like that. So, you know, that aspect's great, but I also really like the artistic expression of doing an album, because they are two different things. Both are very passionate, and when we write albums too, I really like to write with other people in the band. I don't like to come to the studio with, okay, this is the song, this is the way it's going to be. Some people write like that. There are a lot of bands that there's one guy, he just writes everything. Incantation's always been everybody. Yeah, everybody's always had an input in one way or another, even if it's minor or some of them a lot. But even though I've been the only consistent member from the beginning, I've always let other people collaborate in the band, because it is a team effort. It's a band, even though maybe I might be, you know, say kind of leader of the band, or maybe the main one with the main concept or idea. I try to find other people that appreciate that concept and want to expand on it, or just throw their 2 cents to making that idea and concept better. So, and like I said, live is a totally different beast as far as playing, but it's there's no real good way to express how amazing it is to play, get to play live, and especially if people really appreciate the music you play. There's just a feeling inside that you get that is it's like such a high. It's unbelievable, and just to be able to play and just play, express that aggression that is in the music and the passion that's in the music in a live situation is such an amazing feeling. And I know all of us in the band, really appreciate that live experience. We never want to just dial it in and just go through the songs. If it ever gets to the situation where we're just up there just saying, okay, we're playing the show, pay me for the show and whatever, then we know it's done. We want to go there and just give it 100%. It doesn't matter about when we're playing live, any of the bullshit doesn't matter. It just, it's like time to vent and tell everybody, fuck you, this is what we do,
There you go. And that's exactly the vibe I get from I think this is like my 6th time seeing you tonight.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Well, hopefully tonight kicks your ass too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Everybody, we are here with Incantation, new music coming very soon. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we'll see you next time.